Welcome to our Amud Yom Shir, our Shabbos Amud Yom Shir, going by the order of the Dear Shu International Program. We are in Shabbos Samechei Amud Beis, but we're still in Amud Aleph, which means today's page is Samechei Amud Beis, but the topic starts Samechei Amud Aleph in the bottom of the page. We said this year's Leilu Nishmas of Mary Menachem Ben Akiva, Atzlochas Klal Yisrael in this time of difficulty. Says the Gemara said in the previous line that Shmuel, the father of Shmuel, Shmuel's father, did not allow his daughters to do three things. And one of the things that he did not allow them to do, two things he didn't allow them, and one thing he obligated them to do. The thing he did not allow them to do was not to go out to the street wearing earrings, which were not real earrings, but rather like just strings, colorful strings, because they may show it to their friends on Shabbos, like the regular chashash of tachshitim. We discussed that yesterday. The second thing that he did not allow them to do, and that's what we're going to discuss today, he did not allow them to lie down with each other, to go to sleep in the same bed with each other when they were besulos, they were young girls, and they're not allowed to sleep in the same bed as girls. Yeah, he made sure that they sleep in separate beds. And that is the discussion today. And the third topic will come up soon, Be'ezus Hashem. Second to last line, Samechei Amud Aleph. Just on time, we're just starting now. Loi shaviklu ganyan gabe adodi. He did not allow them to ganya, to lie down next to each other, with each other. Why is that? What's the problem? What's the issue? Lema, let us say, Mesiel Ravuna. The Gemara in Yevamos brings down the opinion of Ravuna. The Gemara in Yevamos rejects the opinion of Ravuna. And here, maybe Ravuna has a friend, Shmuel's father. No, what did Ravuna say? Says Rashi, they do something together like tashmish amita. There are two women instead of a man and a woman. There are two women who are basically have some kind of relations together. As Rashi says, they rub against each other in such a way that gives them some sick kind of ano, and they're like instead of a man and a woman, then a woman and a woman together. And what about what's halachic status? Psulas lekehuna. These women are disqualified to marry a kohen. We just opened a huge Pandora's box, which I'm going to explain. Yeah, they cannot marry a kohen. What's the story over here? Basically, psulas lekehuna means, first of all, in the time, I'm starting from the end. In the time of Avud Shmuel, there was no kohen gadol, right? Only kohen hediot, obviously, because it's after the time of the Churban. So before we continue into Rashi and Tosfos, you have to know the following. Why would it be the two women who are together, or like married, so to speak, together? Why can't they be married to a Kohen Gadol or Kohen Hediot? So as we all know, a Kohen Gadol is not allowed to marry any woman unless she's a Besula. In other words, any woman that was in any kind of relations, before marrying him, Mutter, Osur, Znus, Not Znus, is possible. He can only marry a Besula. Ki Besula me'ama vikach isha is a mitzvah sasei. So any woman who's not a Besula, he cannot marry, right? Kohen Hediot, on the other hand, Kohen Hediot can marry all kinds of women, even if they had relations, although providing that they're not called a Zoina. One of the four types of women that a Kohen Hediot cannot marry, Zoina, Chalolo, Gurusha, and a Chalutza, the Rabbanon. A Zoina is a woman who wasn't stam in relations of Znus. In other words, a woman that, let's say, had a boyfriend and she had relations outside marriage. The act is an act of znus, even without ksubas is znus, even if you're married. But the woman is not a zoino, according to most opinions, according to halacha, unless she had relations with someone whose marriage is not toifus. Let's say she had marriage or is osur to marry. I've just learned it in Kiddushin, so I'm making a summary. You're helping me summarize. If a woman had relations with a goy, with an eved, she cannot marry a kohen anymore her entire life, because that kind of relation, she can't marry a kohen or a goy. Right, excuse me, an eved or a goy. She had relations with a mamzer, also disqualified, because you're not allowed to marry a mamzer. Any relations that cannot or shouldn't end up with marriage afterwards, that makes her a zoina. Okay, so we have to know. So that's even for kohen hediot. Now that we said that, what about these women? Now these women, you can say they were in some kind of relations, which you can call intimate relations. On the other hand, could be that physically they're still basulos. Yeah, they didn't have real relations, some relations. There's no aver, there's no men. So how do you define that? Look at Rashi. Psulas lekuna lokohen gadol. They lo have a besula shlema. Something very interesting. Yeah. In other words, she may be disqualified to a kohen gadol, Because of course she's not a zoina, according to Rashi. Why? Because that's not bichlal relations. However, she's not called a complete basula. The fact that she had this weird relations with another woman, that makes her not completely basula. She may be physically a basula, but that maisa in the Havamin, in that shita of Rav Huna, that is really makes her kilo basula minus. She's not mamash basula. Her Kohen Gadol disqualified. Continues Rashi, dafagav the Kohen Gadol bayomi lo have. There was no Kohen Gadol in times of Shmuel, so what does he care? Shmuel's father. So she won't marry Kohen Gadol. There is no Kohen Gadol. However, derech znus chashiv leilav urachara. Because it's derech znus, it's not real znus, but there's basula b'shleima. There's some kind of nidnud of znus. It's not derech eretz. It's not the right thing. In other words, the fact that it should be possible for Kohen Gadol because she's not a complete basula, because of the ma'aseh that ilu diminishes from her basula, from the status of basula, that is an indication that this is not a nice thing to do, to be with another woman. That alone, in other words, Kohen Gadol is not a siba, it's a siman. It's an indication, not a reason. There's no Kohen Gadol waiting to marry her. Now Tosfos argues, and Tosfos says, you can. I'll start Tosfos from the middle. He says, and so it's mashroom from the Gemara. I'm not reading Tosfos inside. I saw it and I saw the Gemara in Yevomis. I actually once gave a whole Iyun thing on that. That basically Tosfos says it's mashroom from the Gemara in Yevomis that the issue is znus. Yeah. In other words, the issue is a Kohen Hedyot. In other words, it was according to Rav Huna, the fact that a woman was with a woman is not only she's a non-besula, which is only bad for Kohen Gadol level, she's also called a zoina. In other words, because she was in such relations which are not getting you anywhere, you can maybe define it that way, that kind of so-called relations, that makes her a zoina, right? That's worse. And therefore, she can't marry any Kohen. She's the Isha Zoina v'chalala, Grusha. She's on that level of Zoina. That's the opinion of Rav Huna, and now we think that this is also the opinion of Avur Shmuel. That's why I didn't want them to sleep together. And says the Gemara, loy, that's not true. That's not the reason why Avur Shmuel said that. Sava, there was a different reason. He thought, what's lilfan? To learn. He didn't want them to learn, to get used to sleeping in bed with a different body. If you start sleeping in the same bed with your sister, eventually you're going to look for a man. That's what Rashi says. It's avilish kavim ish that want to sleep with a man. She's used to having another person next to her, as you know, like a teddy bear kind of thing, as a blankie. So she'll look for a boy afterwards when sister goes to seminary. So therefore, he didn't want that matzav. So now it's not so clear because it's mashma that really there's no problem with two women sleeping together, right? So Lamais, it's not true. So the Rambam and the Shulchan Aruch says that two women to marry each other is an Isser D'Oraisa. Why is it a D'Oraisa? Although it's not mentioned in the Torah, but two women to be together like that, like a couple, unfortunately, very common in today's, you can't call it the world, in today's base Meshugoyim, which we were lucky to live in, these things happen. And therefore, you should know that people should know that this is also the Oraisa. Why? Because it says before the Isurei Arayas, when the Torah starts explaining and elaborating on all different arayas, sister, mother, nida, ishatish, it says, don't behave like the Egyptians. And Rambam says, they used to have men marrying a man with chuppah and kiddushin and ksuba, the Egyptians. Sounds like America, unfortunately, like Tel Aviv. And so too, the women that you'd have a woman and woman marrying together and would have a ksuba. The Egyptians, the Goyish Egyptians. Yeah, nothing is different. Yeah, California took it from somewhere. And that's why when you do that, it's K'maiseh Eretz Mitzrayim. And Rambam says, make sure your wife doesn't befriend such women. I don't know, in the Shulchan Aruch, I don't know why dafka this. I don't know if they don't say that, but other things. Make sure the women are known to be like that. Women who are declared I don't want to say the word. So basically, make sure your wife is not friendly with them. She doesn't go into the houses, and they shouldn't come to your house. That's what he says. So that just sheds a light on that very sad topic. But that's what it says. So why? So it's a question because here you see that it doesn't seem like it's a problem. So there should be, but it's mashma from the Rambam that the problem is not the ma'isa. The problem is the fact that they're like declared and they're like doing it b'derech keva. The ma'isa itself may not be ma'isa znus, but the matzav is the matzav of the ma'isa of Mitzrayim. Yes, what are you saying? No, the Gemara there says in Yevomis that it's peritzusa be'alma. The Gemara says that the two women together is not called a tashmish. It's not called a ma'isa znus or znoina b'chalal. It's nothing. It's like me scratching my cheek. It's nothing. So I'm saying Ravuna started the sugya in a disadvantage. So if Avur the Shmuel doesn't hold of him, if there's no raya for him, so Avur the Shmuel joins everybody else who's against Ravuna. They don't hold it to Maisa B'chlal. Look up Yevomis Ein Vav. Homework, Yevomis Ein Vav. And then I hear you. It's a nice this idea, very yeshivish, very nice, but no, look. Weiter. Oh, now mikvois, something more pure. The Ovid lo mikve b'yoyim Nisan. That was the third thing. What did he do? That's, the sugya can be very, very hard, and the Rishonim here, excuse the pun, they flow. There's so much ritvarash, but so much stuff for like a river. It's all about a river, and you can really simplify the sugya for Bekias very, very easily. I just saw now, I've done Shabbos Baruch Hashem a few times, and every time I thought I'm going to get a headache from looking in his page. It's really very easy. The concept that's here is super easy and super easy to explain and understand. You're going to get it very well. What did we say in the original statement? Let's just review. We said as follows. In the days of Nisan, we discussed the days of Nisan and the days of Tishrei. When is Nisan? After the winter. That's important to remember. Tishrei is after the summer. Yeah, obviously. Yeah. So then, now, in the times of Nisan, he would not allow them to be toivel, to dip in the river Pras, in the Euphrates. Where in the mikveh, in the Yom Nisan, he would make them a mikveh, and in Tishrei, he would, yes, allow them to dafka go into the river, right? The question is why? Yeah, in other words, one time of year, dafka use the river. Another time, no, you can't go do tvila in the river, but rather he would do the machzalos, he would make a whole arrangement, so they should have a mikveh, a separate, proper mikveh of either megishamim or the river water that are now ensconced and concentrated in a mikveh. Now, why is that? Super easy, I'm telling you. Now, that helps the opinion of Rav. What did Rav say? Mitra b'ma'arova sahad Rav pras. When there's rain in Eretz Yisrael, the great witness for that is the pras. In other words, when people in Bavel see that the pras, the Euphrates, that starts in Eretz Yisrael, it emanates, it begins to spring in Eretz Yisrael and flows into Bavel, right? That river, if you see that it's big and it flows and there's a lot of water, the people of Bavel, says Rashi, are happy for the brethren in Eretz Yisrael that was a very rainy year. Which means what? Which means that really, when you see the river, it's really not just the Euphrates. Any river, you see, wow, it's so big, grown up. There's a lot of water there. It means that there's a lot of rain. There was raining in the base, in the starting point of the river. This is what we are concerned about. And halachically, that's a concern. It's a problem. Why is it a problem? You're going to listen. Soba, Avur the Shmuel thinks, Shelo yirbu hanoitfil an lazoichlin. The noitfil, the water that goes down from Shamayim, should not outnumber, become a roiv of the zoichlin, the water that's flowing in the river. Now there's time for explanation. Now, you can look at me, look at Rashi, whichever one, Rashi is better than me. It's very, very simple. There are two types of tvilos. The Torah demands that a zav, and also the water of the mitzoyer you sprinkle from, you see many times in the Torah, Maim Chaim. What's Maim Chaim? Live water. Neviot, Me'eden, what's Maim Chaim? Sometimes the Torah demands, for example, with a zav, that the person should actually dip himself, bitoivel, in Mei Mayan, the water of a spring. And spring is also a river. If you go into the river, you mekayim the tvila, let's say a zav, of Maim Chaim. Okay, very nice. What's the other tvila? Where people nowadays go, that's Maim that are not Maim Chaim. It's rainwater, right? And they're standing. The rainwater is there. It comes from the rain. Then you add more water from the tap, and you have a mikveh for ladies, for gerim, for kalim, whatever. Very good. Now it says in the Torah, Ach Mayan V'bor. What's Ach Mayan V'bor? It says that if you have Mayan, Ach Mayan means the water of the water that flow. If you want to have flowing water, going to be toivel in flowing water of a Mayan, of a river. If the water that's in the river is water that's really mishamayim, let's say you have river. Imagine yourself 1/3 of the water of the river is really river water, natural river water, and 2/3, mamish outnumbering, is water of snow that's melted or rain. It's not real Maim Chaim, but they fake it as if there are Maim Chaim that flow in the river, but really they are illegal immigrants. They're not real river water. They are, or I say they about water because I'm Israeli, so we always talk about water as plural, so forgive me. So the water that flows is really majorly, mostly in Eretz Israel, it was raining. So nice, but not so nice. Because now in Babel, the Euphrates is now flowing. And now when the water is flowing, even if you don't need Mayim Chaim, your regular woman, your Nida, Kalim, Sheretz, Mace, still the water that is flowing, but is really not supposed to be flowing because it's rainwater or melted snow, it's possible for any tvila. For any tvila. Why? It says ach ma'ayan v'bor. Ach is always exclusive. Mayan should only be water of the mayan. Yeah, if the water is flowing, it should be water that's flowing naturally and not from the melted snow or the water. That's simple. Mimela, now we understand the concern. Very good. When it was Nisan, there was big trouble because Nisan is after the winter. In the winter, there was a lot of rain. The Hermon and the other mountains, all the snow is melting. By the way, I remember Zaboch, we once went to the Tiyul and we were swimming in the river, and some local guy told us it's very cold because the water of that river near the Yarden, Banyas, is really melted snow. Yeah, and it was in the springtime. Mamsh what the Gemara says. So basically, that's possible for any tvila. That's important to know. Whether you're Zav or Zava or regular guy, Stam, Tuma, Sheret, that's possible. Mimail, there was this concern. Because he said, like Rav, Abu Shmuel, like Rav, he thought that really the water that's flowing is not really Maymayan. It's Mayim from the rain. Mimail, it's possible. So what did he do in Nisan? Very good. He made a canal and he basically diverted the water of the river into an enclosed place, and that's fine. The flowing water, once they stop in a closed place, that's not a problem. That's not a problem. Or he made a regular mikveh. What about Tishrei? Tishrei is great because Tishrei is after the dry season. Tishrei is 6 months with no rain, right? So no problem because then the river is a real river. It's not faking us anymore. It's real river with just river water. There's barely any rain. Even if there was a little bit of rain, it doesn't outnumber the roiv of the river. And Mimela, clearly, you know, what you get is what you see. You have the flowing river, and that's the water of the river, and it's good. That's why he allowed them to be toivel in the river in Tishrei. That's it. That's simple. There are many questions in Toysas or Shonim, but that's pshat. That's pshat of the Gemara. Now, continues the Gemara. We can, if we have time, I'd like to elaborate, but let's finish Talmud and then. Do you mind? Is it urgent? Can I? Yeah, yeah. Let's ignore the fact that the Zav needs Mayim Chaim. By the way, I'm going to clarify it for you now. These were girls, not boys. And the Rishonim say, most Rishonim hold, Mayim Chaim is only necessary for a Zav, not for a Zava. It's one of the differences between them. Because they were girls, they're Zava. I mean, if the issue was Zava, they don't need Mayim Chaim. They don't need Mayim Chaim. Elamai, even if you don't need Mayim Chaim, any person who needs Tefillah, for mace, for sheretz, to become Jewish, whatever that is, the nida, then no. The fact that Mayim Chaim are flowing, no. That make Shamim are flowing, boom. That's mid-air collision. That's a short circuit. I don't care whichever tumah. Take it from me. You read Rashi, you'll see that that's a shot. Yeah. Now the Arishonim who hold, if you stop me, I'll continue. Yeah. The Arishonim who hold, no. The Arishonim who hold that Zav and Zava both need Mayim Chaim. And the reason why those girls couldn't go to the mikveh then was because they needed Mayim Chaim. So in Tishrei they had Mayim Chaim, and in Nisan they didn't have Mayim Chaim. They had majorly, mostly not Mayim Chaim. The Rishonim argued. They said it's not true. Only Zav needs, not Zava. Now listen to this, unbelievable. Okay, you got me on the roll now. I'm on the ball. There's Sefer, the Mishnah Sochir, written by very Choshev Talmud Chochem, called Sochir Shlomo Teichtal. Yeah. So then he says that you should lechatchila be choishish to this shita that a zova needs Mayim Chaim. So it's better. All our women were choshish or zovos. We got confused with zova and nida. So it's better for a woman to go to river, not to regular mikveh. I don't know if he paskins la'alocho, but if you follow his shita and you want to be super machmir, it's better for a woman to go to Mayan. Don't try it at home. But that's his shita. I remember seeing it and I wrote it down. Anyway, it's not our family minhag, just to make it clear to you. But that's there's such a shita. But that's not what we follow here. I don't want to confuse you. That's not what we say here. What we say, Rashi, Taisus, most Rishonim, the whole Pashut, it's not good for anybody. They have Zoichlim that are really Mei Gshomim. That doesn't work. Yeah, as we said, as we explained. He holds. Most Rishonim say no, and some Rishonim say yes. What? That's one question. Very good. That's one reason. Very good. Very sharp. Very good. It's one reason what disagree with those Rishonim. Tosa says that. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Very good. Upliga de Shmuel. He argues with Shmuel. By the way, Tosa asks the question. You got me. It's your problem. Tosa asks the question: what would a poor Zav in Bovel do if he needs to be Toivel in Nisan? Let's say there were girls. Thank you. If you're not lucky enough to be born a girl, you're born a boy, and you're a Zav, what would you do? So he said you should go to a river that's covered, a river that doesn't, that you knew there's like, there should be like a, make a cover over the river, making sure that the rainwater doesn't fall into the river or the melted snow. Yeah. And in that part, you can be toivel because you know that it's only pure river water, which are really zoichlim, and that's fine for a Zav. Yeah. Pikuach Rabbani, make sure that it started all the way from there. Yeah. Okay, when Mashiach comes, we're going to have a lot of fun, huh? So now, when Mashiach comes, we will only have the second part of this Amud, not the first part. Let's put it this way. Yeah, all the Mashigas will be over. Upliga de Shmuel. This argues with Shmuel. Basically, Shmuel argued with his own father. Shmuel held that it's not a problem. Shmuel says, Nahara mikeife mivrach. Shmuel says a Nahar is always misbarech, gets a blessing, the amount, the abundance of water from its own stone, from its own rock, which means that the rainwater does not affect the river, but rather the river itself. Frek Toisas, what do you mean? Einenu haroyos, that the rivers are bigger in Nisan and there's a lot of rainwater. How can Shmuel argue in reality? Says Toisas, there is a Gemara in a different place where it says, in other words, it's true, but the ratio would always be if you have X amount of gallons of liters coming from Shemaim, you have double as much from the Karka. If you have a good year, which was very lush and very fruitful, you have rain, let's say X from upstairs, you have X times 2 from downstairs. So they'll never be outnumbered. We're okay with having some water from upstairs, as long as it's not the majority. So that's why it's okay. So now, Bekitzer, so good. So Shmuel holds it's not a problem. According to Shmuel, his sisters could go whenever they wanted, anywhere. Because Lamaisa, you'd never have mostly, as a majority, would never be from the rainwater. So it's good. You have regular river, fine. Upliga de. Shmuel argues on himself. Shmuel himself contradicts himself. Domer Shmuel, ena mai mitarin bezoichlin, ela pras be'mitisha bilvad. Shmuel, at the end of the day, agreed with his father. Basically, the water is only good and pure and purifying. When is water okay? When it's zoichel, when it's basically flowing. Only pras be'metishrei bilvad. The pras in the days of Tishrei and not in Nisan. Why not in Nisan? Nisan is at the end of the rainy season, the end of after the snowy season, and then you have a lot of water, maybe even mostly mayim, which are called noitfin from Shemaim, and they are now flowing, and that's possible, and that's a problem. Maybe, I don't know, Shmuel contradicts himself. Maybe Shmuel eventually was convinced by his father, different times in his life, maybe, but that's pshat. There are more questions there in Tosfos. Let's continue for now. Beseder, but we got the point. That's the main point over here. Porefes al ha'even. Okay, so what did we say in the Mishnah? You're welcome to flip back to the Mishnah. I recommend actually to flip back. The Mishnah said here, we said that women are allowed to go out wearing dress like Arabs, like that. It's not called masui. And one of the things we said, a woman is allowed to walk around prufa. Prufa means she takes some item and she ties the tichel and she creates a knot around that item. Yeah, in other words, she takes the fabric, yeah, and she wraps it around, she ties it around either a coin or a pebble or a nut, something small. She's allowed to wrap it around. Listen to the lashon of the Mishnah. And we said, she's allowed to tie a knot around those small items, the coin, the pebble, the thing. Then it says, as long as she does not tie it and she doesn't ring it round on Shabbos. Frek the Gemara, what? Frek the Gemara, in the ratio it said she's allowed to knot it. Don't tell me it was on Friday, because that says Rashi, we know from the Reisha. In other words, to tell me I'm allowed to make knots on Friday, I know, because Arabs, they keep Friday and not Shabbos. Obviously. I know mitzad, seriously now, mitzad the fact she can go dressed like that and it's not a Purim costume and it's not called Masui, that I know already, right? So I know that she can do it on Friday. Therefore, the second statement, when she said poirefes, it doesn't talk about going out. It talks about tying, that must be on Shabbos itself. So then you're contradicting yourself. You're telling me she is allowed to tie it on Shabbos, and then you tell me she's not. Excuse me. Answers the Gemara, Omar Abaye, Seifa osan lematbeya. Uh-oh, depends if you're talking about a pebble or a matbeya. And the issue is muktzeh, and I'm very happy that I saw a miyuchas laran that says what I remembered from Koilov. The story is like this. Can you turn a stone? I want to ask you a question. Let's say on Friday you want to play games with your kids, or you want to have a door stopper, you want to have a paperweight, and you take a stone from Parkay alone, and on Friday, you say, now this stone will not be a stone anymore. I'm converting it to Judaism, and this stone will now be a kli for me. Can you do that on Friday? Yes? Yes. Of course, you can do the same thing over here. If this woman is meyachedes, she picked up the stone, the pebble, and she said, this pebble on Friday will not be muktzeh anymore. It will be my part of my dressing, my apparel. It will be the thing that I'm tying my tichel on. Great, no problem. Can you do it with a coin? Can you do it with a 10 shekel coin? You see any difference, rabbis? Yes or no? Why? The coin? Oh, very good. A coin. Oh. Oh. The coin is meyuchad for usage. And even if I say, I really, really meyachad the coin to be part of my tichel, what's going to be Motzei Shabbos when her child needs to buy something? She'll all of a sudden change her mind. That's not real, right? In other words, first of all, botlo data to kolodon, people don't do it. And the Ran says, because it's valuable, like you said, the Muchas Laran says, the Ritz of Muchas Laran, it's valuable. Such a valuable thing. If you just miyached, it won't help. Surprisingly, though, the Shulchan Aruch paskins, everything I said is Shulchan Aruch says, the Shulchan says that if she actually tied it, she did an act and she actually tied it, was mevateli to the tichel, then it is good even with the matveah. So machlokes rishonim, I've seen different opinions. In other words, to say to just say, okay, that coin over there will be my tichel holder, that's nothing. And then to tie it on Shabbos first time won't help because it's not true. But the Shulchan Aruch holds like those rishonim that if you really on Friday physically really took and put it in the tichel and tied it round, then it's mevutel to the tichel, mevutel to the head cover, which is some rishonim don't hold of. I don't remember who says what. I saw the rishonim inside, so I don't remember who says what, but that's it. Okay, so that's a difference. Now let's talk about the third item. What's the third item? A nut. Oh, a nut. Worth something, but not so much. Boy, Abaye. Abaye asks the question. Can a woman do as follows? We just said now that a woman is allowed to tie, let's say a nut is not muktzeh. A nut is edible. It's a better item of the three, the best one of the three, right? A nut you can tie on Shabbos and go to the park. What about a woman who's ma'arim? What's la'arim? She's playing tricks. Haroma. Yeah, she wants to do something sly. And what does she want to do? She's using the egois as her tichel holder. Really, she wants to give it to her son. She's walking now to the park with her son, and he loves nuts. She wants to feed him the nut on Shabbos. So her kavana is not stamped to tie the tichel. Her kavana is to take out the nut on Shabbos. She's Shomer Shabbos. She's not going to carry it on Shabbos. There's no eruv. What does she do? She's putting it over here. When she'll get to the park with her son, when he drives her crazy, she'll give him the nut. Is that allowed? Yeah. Stam as though you're allowed to go out with the nut when your kavana is only not for it's as part of your dress. If your kavana is to take out the nut, and you're doing it to such harama, is that allowed or not allowed? Maybe it's not allowed because really, what are you doing? You're doing otzah b'shinu. It's also at least the rabbanon. Could be even the oraisa. We're going to see there's a tzad because maybe that's called the normal way of carrying it. Which maybe it's a problem with its own. It's harama. Dr. Gemara, Tibai, now the Gemara elaborates on the question. We're not giving the answer yet. We're elaborating on the question. And we're basing that, what we're about to see now, we're basing on a different machlokes, which I'll tell you now, Balpeh. Basically, there is a whole parak about what happens when chas v'shalom fire breaks on Shabbos. And then you are, as we already mentioned, you're limited regarding the amount of things you're allowed to take. What about clothes? Yeah, you can't just take all your clothes. Can you imagine a teenage girl or a woman taking all their clothes? They can take all day long just that. So now, let's say, can you take all your clothes on Shabbos? No. Can you take only the minimum? No. There are all kinds of ways. According to one of the Tanoim, Machlokes Tanoim, according to one opinion, we say that you only, Rabbi Yossi says you're only allowed to take, 18 clothes. In other words, you're allowed to take everything you wear. Yeah, your whatever, your underwear, your shirt, your vest, your tzitzis, your carpet, but only one of each, and you can go in and out. But you cannot wear two suits together. The other Tana says, which either Tanakam or another, I don't remember the name. The other one says, no, you can wear 10 jackets one on top of the other. You can take, 10 hats one on top of the other. You can. Oh, and that's harama. It's harama because you don't dress like that normally. But because I'm not allowed to go in and out and take endless amounts of clothes, I have to be limited one way or the other. So I work with a limit. But I can only go out once. But that once I can wear 5 hats and 10 jackets and 20 shirts. Yeah, a bit hot. But I can do that, and that's called haroma. Because I'm going within the limit of one entry only, one exit only. But at that time, whoppa, I'm hopping around many, many, many clothes, and that's called haroma. Now, there's a machlokes whether I'm allowed to be marim on Shabbos to take out the items, yes or no. The Gemara says our question of the woman who takes the nut in the tichol in order to give the nut to her son to eat, she's not really interested otherwise in tying the tichol. She has an idea over there. Tiboi, that question is true. Leman domar marimin, v'tiboi leman domar ein marimin. That question, whether she's allowed to be marim and take the nut in a strange way, as if she's just tying the tichol, that question applies both according to Man de Omar that says it's okay to wear 10 jackets, and also according to the one who says you're not allowed to wear 10 jackets. In other words, don't tell me the Gemara is telling you, hey, Kol Kisvei, the Gemara over there in Daf Kuf Kaf, don't jump into conclusions. Don't tell me, you know the sugi already. Yeah, sure. The one who says 10 jackets will surely say that it's okay to take the nut. And the one who says only 1 jacket, he would not allow it. No, says the Gemara. We're going to disengage the two machlokesim. Let's see Be'ezos Hashem how. I'm telling you now, we're about to enter a very shver nekuda. The most shver thing in this parak in Lomdus is coming up soon. The pshat is easy, but the Lomdus here is going to be quite hard. Well, one question is, the question applies even according to the one who holds that over there you're allowed to be marim. Why? In dleika and fire, over there, you know why we allow the guy to take all these 10 jackets? The guy is he's a nice, dresses nicely. He's going to take all the 10 clothes, while the woman who take all 10 dresses, they're so besides themselves. There's fire in the house, if you don't allow them to do that, they're going to put out the fire. As much as we limit the person, but if you limit too much, they're interesting. If they take everything from the house, they're also going to put out the fire because they're too engrossed in, saving everything. But if it'll be too limited, they're also going to be so upset. Oy vey, all my fancy clothes, thousands of dollars. They would also, even by mistake, would forgetting it's Shabbos, they would put out the fire. So therefore, we allow them to do the aroma. We're being pragmatic. Aval hocho over here with a nut. No, the kid needs a nut. Later. If you're not going to allow her to do that, she's not Michal Shabbos to start taking the nut in her hand. No, it's not such dire situation. Give them the nut at home. Give them the nut by your sister-in-law. It's not going to be the end of the world, and therefore maybe harama is not allowed. Maybe harama is the same in both cases, but their harama is necessary of no choice. We don't like harama. We don't like to play tricks with halacha. But when you're concerned people will break in Issa Doraisa of Kibui, then we do it. But when it's not necessary, we don't. That happens many, right? Ask any normal rov. Certain times where the Shasad Chak, we're Mekel. See it all over Shulchan Aruch. Here it's not Shasad Chak, so no Mekel to do aroma. Makes a lot of sense. Here comes the big stuff. Here comes big stuff. Ideal, now maybe. Afila leman domar ein marim. Now the other side of the coin, excuse the pun. Even according to Man de Omar over there, in Marimin Bedleika, according to Man de Omar that says you're not allowed to wear 10 jackets one on top of the other, you know why there you're not allowed to do it? Because Hosam derech bekach, which means over there it's normal to wear 10 jackets one on top of the other, and therefore it's so normal that it's called carrying. To be explained, this is a hot spot here. 1 second. Here, nobody takes out the knot in a tichel. It's not a normal thing to do bichlal. I promise you I'll explain the first side. I'm just finishing the sentence, and I'll explain the difficult point. Over there, I'm repeating what I said. Over there, some people wear 10 jackets one on top of the other. And therefore, if you do it, it could be an Issa d'oraisa. It's called as if you, that's a normal way of carrying it. Issa d'oraisa, aroma shma aroma. You can't do Issa d'oraisa with aroma. Can you eat chazir ba'aroma? Saying to everyone that it's bedatz? No. The shaken over here, it's clearly at best only the rabbanon, because it's crazy. Nobody carries nuts in his. People carry nuts in their hands. They don't carry a nut inside a tichel. You say a girl even coming to shul with a tichel with a nut, you think she's nuts. You say she's nuts, yeah. And therefore, ema shapir dami, because it's clearly shinui. It's only also the rabbanon, and therefore maybe to allow the child to eat, it's okay, because sometimes we allow certain things b'shas chak for b'shinui. Teku. Oh, so it's a teku. We don't know what to do. It's a teku. Now, what's pshat? What did I say? Let's go back to that sore point. That's the point. Question is, what did I say now? We said that if you wear 10 jackets one on top of the other, the people who wear it normally are not regular people, not kollel guys, not high-tech guys, not lawyers, not caterers. The people who wear the 10 jackets one on top of the other are what? Are people who sell clothes, maybe not today. Back then, if you sell clothes, that was your normal way of carrying. I'm saying carrying them. In other words, yeah, you instead of carrying it and schlepping from town to town walking, you would you wear 10 clothes one on top of the other. For those people, that's normal. And you could say for a person who sells the stuff, it's not even called carrying, it's called wearing. He's normally wearing these 10 things one on top of the other. Now, I'm not a clothes seller. I'm not a clothes salesman. If I wear it, yeah, let me start from Bereshis. We all know there's one thing that's clearly osir, one thing clearly mutter. We all agree that if I wear normal clothes on Shabbos, my shirt, my jacket, that's allowed. Yeah, it's part of my body. It's time we know that from the parak. What happens if I carry something like that? I take my hat and I carry it with my hand. Issa d'oraisa. What about if I carry my hat in a crazy way? I take my hat and I wear it over here, and nobody ever wears his hat over here. I wear it like that. Yeah, what is it? The D'oraisa, the Rabbanon, mutter, okay? The Rabbanon, shinui. It's beshinui. Yeah, it's also the Rabbanon, clearly. There's the worst case. The fourth option is the most difficult one, but I'll give an example that I think the Shita Laran or the Ritva they bring down. If you did your weekend homework, a woman who is a gizboris, a woman who's a menahelis, she's a choshuv director or something, CEO, and she has a tabas with the choisam, she's chayiv if she takes it out on Shabbos, she wears it on Shabbos. Why? Because for women, to that item called tabas choisam, most women are not big CEOs, they're not big menahalos, and therefore for them that item is not a tachshit. It's considered to be an item that you carry. It's not something you wear, right? On the other hand, because she's used to carrying it, for her it's not called shinui. It's as if her wearing it is called carrying. Why? Because it's normal for men, and also for her choshev, one who's like a man, mimena, that's the worst combination. Mitzad echad, the tabas is not really beautifying her. It's not something she's going to wear for a wedding or to look nice. But because it's normal for her to wear it on her finger, it's not called shinui. If I would wear the hat on the finger, it's shinui. But for her to wear that, sometimes these things happen in our parak. It's normal enough to be called carrying, but not normal enough also to be called carrying. And that's what happens over here. The other people who wear those items, the 10 dresses, the 10 jackets, they wear, yeah, for them that's normal, and they wear it like that. And because some people wear it like that, and one day I could also become a salesman of clothes, Mimela, it's not called enough of a shinui. It's not called crazy enough to call shinui, like I'm carrying my hat over here, I'm carrying my shoe on my head. Nobody works with a shoe on his head. It's not crazy enough to be called shinui. It's a sheni, right? And therefore that's called wearing. Wearing? So it's like wearing a shirt? No, it's not like wearing a shirt. It's crazy, because for me, I don't wear 10 jackets. In other words, it's crazy enough to be called that it's not my beged, not my derech levisha, but it's normal enough to say that it's derech carrying. Basically, what I'm telling you, sometimes wearing something is considered as carrying it b'doraisa. So that's the lomdish of this parak. I can repeat if you want. I can watch it online later. What? You get what? Yeah. Yeah, again. In other words, if everybody in the world would always wear 10 jackets, let's say there's new fashion all over the world, Haredi, Chiloni, everyone wears 10 jackets, that's wearing. If I wear 10 jackets on my hand, that's for sure Shino and Potter. But because some people wear 10 jackets and some don't, right? So it's not so crazy. So wearing it is called carrying kederech. It's as if I'm carrying it in my hand. If I wear 10 jackets, it's as if it's as if I held the jacket in my hand. That's what this shita holds. Because just like it's normal to take my jacket, many people take the jacket like this over here, very elegant, right? Like that. True. When you go out of the dry cleaning, that's normal. Nobody thinks you're crazy. So because some people, and that's for sure also doraisa, because some people wear those 10 clothes, mimela, it's considered as carrying because it's normal by some people to carry like that. Now by them, that's called lavush. By them, because they wear it like that all the time. But them, it's so normal that it crossed the line between normal carrying and it's called normal wearing. But I'm not a salesman of clothes. So for me, that's still called crazy enough that it's not called lavush, it's called carrying. I can say it again if you want. L'choira, I think so. I think so. No. For them, it's normal. For them, it's normal. It's mutter. For them, it's like my shirt. But for me, it's not. For them, it's like, yeah, they wear it like a shirt. What? But it's normal. Are you saying that also have? You're saying it's a massive for them also? I'm beginning to. I have it sad to say like you, because lemaise we say by people that wear the in daf S, the daf yud aleph yud base. We saw that a chen when he walks with something on his with a pencil on his ear is considered to be normal only while he's working, but not when he's not working. But at the time when they're working, it is normal for them. It's better a masu for them. You're saying that it doesn't make them nice? I hear what you're saying. You know, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. I have to say in the Rishonim again. Maybe you're right. I'm not sure that's what I'm saying in the Rishonim. Even if we say like you, it's okay. Even if we say that they're chayiv by wearing it, that's the normal way of carrying it. You know, maybe. Even if you go with you, it's still okay. Because then he'll have to say every person is a potential dress seller. Now, those who sell the dresses, the jackets, for them to wear 10 jackets one on top of the other is normal hoitzo. It's a normal way of hoitzo. And they're chayev on hoitzo. What about me? Also, I'm chayev on hoitzo. Because some people carry it, so do I. But the Ran compares it to the woman who wears the tabas that is not so normal for her. So that's why I'm not sure that Elder Rishon would agree with you. It's not me up her. Right. The tabas is a masu for her, and it's normal for her to carry the masu like that. Right. Okay, I hear what you're saying. No, I gave up. I gave in. Rab David is right, and I was wrong. And I hear. Very good. You're right. We don't have to command to that. In other words, I am not a guy who sells clothes. So, because I can become one. As we said with the Roim, because Roim, the shepherds, they wear a sack. Even though I'm not a shepherd, because I can become a shepherd, mainly it's normal for me too. And therefore there could be chiyuv doraisa. No, yeah, man, I hear. I agree with you. The Seder, at least in Rashi, we can definitely say it. Hatzlacha v'racha shkoich. Thank you very much, Rab David, and everybody else. Thank you, Jason. Okay, Hatzlacha, and we should be zoiche to see Mashiach soon, but Dusha v'tahara. Thank you. Shkoich. Thank you.